Okay, Ted, who do you have as your winner of the week?
Uh, this is an interesting one. My
Oh, here we
winner of
go.
the week is Jaden Fields, softball player from Georgia. Happens to be the sister of Justin Fields, Ohio State quarterback who's in the National Football League draft. She drove in, she had two amazing plays. She drove in the winning run to end the 40 game winning streak against Oklahoma. OU softball's been on an unbelievable run. So she drives in the winning run. The other amazing play, it was amazingly horrible. It may be the worst play I've ever seen in my life. She hits a go ahead home run in like the second or third inning. It's a 2-run home run. She rounds the bases, comes home, misses the plate, and is called out. But not only did she miss the plate, so whenever I first heard this, I was like, oh, she hit a go-ahead home run. There must have been 20 girls out there that just like piled on her as she came across, and in the confusion, she missed the plate. No, there's no one there, Gabe. She even does like the run and jump, like you do the big emphatic jump to like stomp on home plate, and misses it. Misses it. And knowingly misses it and doesn't touch it. It just goes back to the dugout. She's called out. It's ruled a triple. 1 run scores. Her run does not count. And you've got undefeated Oklahoma, and this is going to be the reason you lose the game. But to be able to come back from that, I don't know how horrible that must have felt for the entire game. But to drive in the winning run after not completing a home run amazingly, she's got to be the winner of the week.
So I tuned into that game and I know exactly what you're talking about. And I don't know if she just miscalculated the distance or what, but it was very odd. And you can find it. It's floating around there on Twitter. But I will say this: what a bounce back by Patty Gasso's squad,
Oh, yeah.
right? I mean,
Had him down 12-0.
like
Ended up being what, 12-3?
12-3 final in the second game. They played a doubleheader, and I think they played that second game a little angry, but that first one was great because I'd seen some of the things on Twitter, so I was like, okay, I gotta find this. I gotta start watching it a little bit because I really do love watching softball. It just goes so quickly, it moves fast. It's a fun watch for me, but yeah, that second game I know the first game was thrilling and was exciting, but I don't like watching OU softball lose. I like watching them dominate like they did in the second game, and they beat the shit out of Georgia in the second game. Made me feel better. It did.
No, I, I'm the same way, but see, baseball and softball, it's a different sport. When you make a huge mistake in football, it's it's the next snap happens and you're fully involved, and it's a physical game where you could take that out on someone. But baseball and softball, there's a lot of empty time spent in your own head out in the field. And can you imagine the rest of the game thinking, oh my God, we're going to lose by one, which they were down by one late. I think in the 6th or 7th inning, they were down 1 run, thinking we're going to lose this because I missed home plate. I, I would like try and dig a hole in center field and crawl into it and bury myself.
That's
That was great that she came back from that. I hated that it was against us, but pretty cool nonetheless.
that's the thing about baseball and softball, man. Right? I don't know who said this, but you hear it a lot in baseball. It's like, hey, if you succeed 3 out of 10 times, you go to the Hall of Fame,
Right.
right? So I think baseball players probably don't get enough credit for the mental toughness component, right? They get no credit for the physical part of the game, really, right? They're just like, it's not football, it's not basketball, there's no contact. Like, you're just swinging a bat, you're just throwing a ball, you're just catching the ball. Like, it is what it is from a physical standpoint. I think it's a little harder than some people think it is, but
A good
You
part of
talk
the
about
reason I wasn't a baseball player, Gabe, is because if I struck out or I got out, I would like slam my bat into the chain link fence, toss my helmet, go in and kick something. It just doesn't suit my personality very well, which
really.
neither does golf, but for some reason I try and play golf.
That surprises me. I would never see that from you. All right. Who do you have as your loser of the week?
I had to go with the NFLPA, DeMaurice Smith. They've got this all out campaign. I guess apparently it's a bad thing that coaches want their players to come and practice OTAs. And it's like this big pressure campaign against coaches that are trying to get their guys to come in and practice. God forbid they want to try and win football games in the fall. It's they're trying to put the best team together. The coaches, I got news for you. The coaches are going to get paid the same whether the players are there or they're not. So they're not doing it like to enrich themselves. They're just trying to put a good football team together. And I don't know. I think it's weird that the year that the guys had last year where everyone's on Zoom the entire time, and I know it's nice to have some time at home, but God, I'd be chomping at the bit to get the hell out of my house and go somewhere and be around my teammates and practice some football, get in the weight room and do some work. I just don't understand why they're pushing back so hard on coaches trying to get their players in to practice football. It's what everyone's paid for.
Yeah, obviously there's still the coronavirus component of things, but dude, you know as well as I do, guys got a taste of that sweet virtual
No.
OTAs life last year, and they're
That
like, I
8 month
want to.
off season.
Yeah, they're like, hey man, we do our meeting. I tell them I'm working out, and then I'm on the golf course by what? Like that they don't want to go back. I mean, the established guys, they don't care about the pay. Like, I'll say this as an undrafted guy, like that OTAs money, a lot of people are like, oh, they don't make anything in OTAs. Well, it was more than zero.
It's like $600 a week or
It
something
was
whenever I
more
was
than
there.
zero. I know that.
Yeah.
So it was better than nothing for me. Again, you're staying in the hotel for free and all that stuff. Like, got a lot of food being provided for you. Like, that money wasn't meaningless to me. Now I understand it's meaningless to a lot of guys, but yeah, they're starting virtual. Then they're going to try to do some on field stuff. Then what it's going to be, the mini camp is going to be the only thing that's mandatory, like it always is. But yeah, let's just call it how we see it. We can talk about the safety protocols and everything. And I do think some guys are still concerned about that stuff, right? Genuinely concerned. And I understand that. But a lot of the guys in the league are just looking at it going, you know what? I like being home. I
Yeah.
like being able to only have to have this 1 or 2 hour meeting, and then I can do whatever I want to do the rest of the day. Right. I'm down here in Florida, and I yesterday we went and saw Cody Parkey and his wife, because Cody Parkey and I lived together when we were playing in Cleveland. And he was like, yeah, I mean, I've got my 1 hour OTA virtual meeting, and then I can, I get my workout in the morning, and then I can go play golf. But now they are kind of screwing, the Browns are kind of screwing them with the timing of their OTA. They're going at like, it's like 1 to 3. It's like, what are
Yeah.
we doing? No. We got
Let's
to get this
go.
out of the way at like 8 in the morning. But
I,
it's
I'll tell you
interesting.
the one thing, and remember the first couple weeks of the season this year, because everything was virtual, was a slaughter of injuries. So that's the one thing to remember. And I know everyone wants their time at home, and as humans, we're naturally lazy. We'll do as little as anyone will let us get away with and still make the same amount of money. I get that, but it's way better for these guys, way better for these teams. The teams that show up and do it are going to be better off in the long run. Just my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. I'm with you there. I completely agree. Especially, they're so important. Getting in, getting the playbook, getting on the field, and doing things so important for the young guys. And I will say this: I've seen some veterans, right, that have been in the league for a long time, put things out there like, "Hey, rookies and undrafted free agents, like, don't worry, like, you're not winning a job in OTAs. Like, you'll get your opportunity in training camp to show what you can do. That's simply not true. I mean, I think it was Cam Hayward was one of the ones I saw, and I was like, yeah, that's not true, right?
Right.
Believe me, like, no offense to him, that guy's an amazing player, awesome defensive lineman. He doesn't know what it was like to be an undrafted free agent. Like, he was a high draft pick. Like, he has no idea. Those OTAs, for me, it was where I got the coach's attention, where they were like, hey, you know what? This kid's got a chance. And that got me more reps in training camp when it rolled around. Like, if you don't have the OTAs to at least be out there on the field as an undrafted guy or a late round pick and show that you've got a little shit to you, you got no chance, man. And if they won't put you on the field in practice, they're damn well not going to put you on the field in the preseason games, and the preseason games are already getting reduced. So please don't listen to that bullshit about all these established guys saying, oh, no, you'll get your chance, rookies and, undrafted free agents.
No,
That's a lie,
what
man.
they're going to do, Gabe?
It's a lie.
They're going to go with, if you have a virtual offseason, they're going to go with an established vet.
That's why these guys are pushing for it. You see these 8-9 year guys like, hey, cap's going down. Let's make sure I don't get any of these young guys in here, show that maybe they got, some talent. That it pisses me off that these people are straight up lying to these guys that could be in those situations. I mean, it's just not true. You are not going to get your opportunity to get reps. It's just not true. That's not how training camp works in the NFL.
No, when you eliminate,
man.
How many OTAs do they have now in the CBA? Is it
10 practices?
Is it 10?
I think so.
Well, we'll just say 10 practices, and we'll say through all periods, inside drills, 7-on-7, 1-on-1s, team blitz, all of that stuff. Let's say there's 75, 80 reps a practice. That's 800 reps, okay, that are total. And your share of those, obviously you're not going to get every one of them, but it may be 200 reps that you get throughout 10 practices of OTA. You can't ever make that up. You can never make that up. And being half asleep on a Zoom call at 8 a.m. is not how you make the team. You make the team by blocking people, tackling people, deflecting the football. So I don't know. It's frustrating.
Yeah, and I think technically, because you can do a practice and a walkthrough, right? So, but a walkthrough is not like a real practice. I think it's 10. I could be very wrong, and I'm sure someone will tell me if I'm very wrong, and I'm fine with that. But don't listen to all that. Oh yeah, those guys will get their opportunity. That's okay.
You only got a window like this too. Once you're established, you've got like a 2 or 3 year window to kind of float around, hang around.
I remember
you haven't made a roster.
It was like halfway through, even like rookie minicamp is important. Like all that stuff's so important, but I'm just saying, man, you need, when you're in that situation, you're a late round guy or an undrafted guy, you need every opportunity you can get to show that you belong. And OTAs is one of those opportunities, right? Even the workouts, like showing that you can run, showing that you can lift, like everything matters. Like the strength coaches report all that shit to the coaches. So, I mean, you'll get your opportunity. As you can tell, that rubbed me the wrong way a little bit. Okay, so for my winner of the week, thought about going with Steph Curry. That man is on another planet right now. It's looking like he may average 40 points for the month of April, which is just absurd, but he scarred me a little bit throughout the years, so I'm not going in with him. So my winner of the week, popular golfers. So one of the tough things about golf is no matter how popular you are, like even if you're making tons of money on endorsements, you still have to go out in tournaments and play well to win money, right? To win money from the actual tournament. Like you're the most popular guy in the world. People may be coming to see you, but if you don't go low and finish and, make the cut and then finish and, top 10s, top fives, that type of stuff, you're not making a ton of money from the actual golf portion of things. But that appears to be changing, Ted, because when you look at what the PGA Tour is doing, I read an article by Bob Herrig. The PGA is putting together a bonus pool of $40 million that they will give to their most popular players. So it's all about rewarding guys that bring in money. And we hear the term moving the needle a lot when it comes to golf. So for these guys, these 10 guys, it's all about fans wanting to see them play in person or on TV. It's the guys that bring in sponsorships for the tour. So there will be bonus payments in this new incentives program to the top 10, and that will be based on something they are calling the impact score. The impact score. That will be determined by a bunch of different metrics, right? Where they can gauge, the ratings, their popularity, and all that stuff, which will include their popularity in Google searches. It will include how popular they are on TV and social media. But Ted, this is a way for the guys that bring in money, but may not necessarily be playing that well at this time. Ricky Fowler, right? I'm talking to you. By the way, saw Ricky Fowler walking down the street. I was going to dinner with Parky. They live like a couple houses down from each other. He was just walking, just out on an afternoon walk. And I wanted to be like, dude, congrats. You're going to make a ton of money through this new PGA Tour thing.
You should have said, hey, why don't you go hit some balls on the range? You played terrible right now.
Just decided to leave that man alone. He's got enough to worry about, but I'm sure he's thrilled about this. But I thought this was pretty cool, right? The guys that bring in a lot of money deserve a little cut, right? Remember, these players, these popular guys are what the tour uses to leverage TV deals. They don't get cuts of that, right? So I'm all for it. Sounds kind of awesome for the popular golfers that may or may not be playing that well.
Well, here's
there's the Lehman sigh. Here we go. Well,
all right. So the NFL has what's called the performance bonus. So what happens is there's a big chunk of money that is set aside on every team, and you get a bonus that is not tied to your contract. This is completely separate. You get a bonus based on how many snaps you play during the season. And the bonus is paid like conversely to your salary. So this is a way
position.
Yes. So this is a way for guys that are undrafted free agents or late round picks that make league minimum and didn't get a signing bonus, that if they end up being a starter or a big contributor on special teams and build up a bunch of reps, they end up getting a huge bonus at the end of the year. And that's a way for them to see a part of the action. So I wish it was kind of tied in, and maybe it is, to the PGA that way, to where let's help some of the guys out that, aren't making a ton of money on tour, but, they're still bringing people in. They're still a big factor with what we do. Because otherwise, I feel like this has just been a scheme cooked up to pay Tiger Woods $40 million a year for not playing anymore. Because I got news for you. Even though he's not going to even play, he's going to move the needle more than anyone else by sitting in a wheelchair on the 18th green watching the guys come in. I mean, that's going to move the needle. Tiger Woods is still going to bring the biggest amount of fans to the sport, whether he's hitting a ball or not. So I don't know. It is interesting though, but I feel like it's going to end up being a bonus for the guys that are winning anyways. There's a couple of guys like Max Homa. Doesn't he have like a pretty big following?
Social media. He does a good job with that stuff.
he's played better, but I don't know. I kind of feel like it's going to end up being a pot for the guys at the top that are already winning everything, anyways.
which I'm fine with because it's the
Fine, yeah,
reason that,
hey,
yeah, that people are tuning in. And it's funny you mentioned the Tiger thing because I saw a quote from Brooks Koepka that was like, yeah, Tiger deserves that money every year. He's the reason we all make so much money playing golf now. Like, I'm perfectly fine for it. It was like the most Brooks Koepka quote of all time. I will say this. I almost made myself the winner of the week because, Teddy, you'll love this. Saturday, we're playing golf out of Troubadour, which is the new Discovery course south of Nashville. And we were playing there's this bar in between holes 1, 2, and 3. And we just finished and we're sitting there drinking, and there's like 15 golf carts. And I'm not exaggerating, like 15 golf carts by the tee box of the second hole, which is a par 3. And these guys are just firing at it. And I mean, right at it, bro. I'm like, damn, these dudes are legit, and just huge group of guys. And I don't think anyone ended up making it, but guy hit the flagstick in the air. It was pretty sweet. And they come up to the bar that we're sitting at, and it's Justin Thomas, Jordan Spieth, and a bunch of their buddies. And they are feeling good. And it was so cool to watch those guys hit golf balls. I was just like, this
wow.
is awesome. I played it cool. I was wearing an OU thing too. And, chatted with a couple guys for a while, but, no OU stuff came up. I was glad. I was wearing an OU pullover. I was like, uh-oh, here we go. This could be awkward.
I wish you would have asked Spieth why the hell he took so long at the British Open that time, running up and down that hill. That still makes me mad to this day.
See, next time I see him, which I assume will be never, I'll ask him. I'll be like, hey, man, my buddy's got a question. British Open. What? I guess it's the Open. Now, but that was cool.
Cool.
I played it cool. Didn't make anything awkward. Just say, hey, what's going on, guys? Played it cool. I take pride
in. Got some weird thing where you bump into all these professional golfers everywhere.
I wish it was like in a situation where I was better at the sport, but hey, I'll tell you this: gains. We're getting some gains, bud.
Coming around, huh?
It's coming. I am encouraged. That's what I'll put it. It's all about the positive energy, right? Positive vibes. I'm encouraged, but also watching those guys fire at that par 3, I was like, oh, I got a long way to go. I'll never get there, but it was cool. It's always cool watching.
Well, they've been doing it their whole life. Once you ask them to go do like some board drills with you, you'd be.
Yeah, let's go. Hey, let's go hit the sled, guys. Come on, let's do it. Okay, my loser of the week. Thought about going with the Brooklyn Nets because, man, they keep having issues, right? KD banged up again. Doesn't sound like it's serious with the thigh bruise, but James Harden, this is a guy that even after what he did to Houston, like he was in the conversation for NBA MVP. He gets hurt with the hammy, and on Monday has a setback with the hammy. The quote was that he is back to square one. Something happened in, kind of a rehab session on the court with him. So he hasn't played for over 2 weeks now, and it sounds like he'll be out indefinitely. So that's just got to be worrisome for the Nets, man.
Massive. This is just a huge shock to me. Who could ever think that a guy that sat around and got fat, 40 pounds overweight, demanding to be traded could be fighting hamstring issues throughout the season? It's just strange how some of those things end up working out. Weird.
It is a little weird, but I will say this: Harden has always been like an Iron Man, right? Yeah. I mean, he plays and plays and plays. It's weird seeing him miss extended time, but my loser of the week, it's got to be the Super League. I mean, this thing popped up and died quickly. So if you don't follow soccer, and I'm not going to pretend like I'm super into international soccer, but this is pretty much the most popular story in sports right now. So they announced how the Super League was going to work. It essentially was going to be different than how soccer has been different internationally forever. And the soccer world freaked out about it. I mean, soccer fans freaked out. Some of the players spoke out against it. FIFA and UEFA freaked out. I mean, UEFA even threatened that if for the players that were going to play in the Super League, they threatened those players by saying they wouldn't let them play in the World Cup, right? Wouldn't let them play for their national teams. I don't even know if they can do that, but they said it and they put the threat out there, and it seems to have worked because there was so much outrage and backlash. I assume the owners of the 12 teams that were going to be like, they've been plotting this for a while. Like, it's not like this just came together overnight, but it just came crashing down in a few days. It's like they didn't have much of a plan to present it. They're like, all right, here's the press release. I mean, one owner maybe said something publicly about it, but the rest of them, like, you didn't hear anything. But you look at it a couple days later, all 6 English teams are out. Man City, Liverpool, Man U, Arsenal, Tottenham, and Chelsea. They're like, never mind. Bad idea. We're out. Once they bailed, a couple of the what was it, Inter Milan and Atletico Madrid bailed. They're like, yep, sorry. They all issued their own statements like, hey, our bad. We didn't, they should have just said, didn't think you'd freak out this much. Our bad. But the Super League, I mean, it's the backlash was so bad, and then all the teams started bailing. The Super League has announced the project has been suspended. So maybe they should have been a little more organized with the old rollout, Ted. The Super League came and died quickly.
What a bunch of losers. Okay,
That's why they're my loser of the week.
Yeah,
perfect, exactly.
It's perfect. You get the 12 biggest and best soccer clubs in the entire world, and they say, we ruled this thing. We're going to start our own league, which, quite frankly, sitting over here in the United States, I think it sounds awesome. I'm not ever going to tune in to watch any of these teams play another team that I've never heard of. If I'm flipping around and Chelsea's playing Man City or so, okay, let me see what's going on here a little bit. I'm never going to watch any of those other games. So for me, it's perfect. You got the biggest dogs, and they decide, they work on this thing, and we're going to start our own Super League. It's going to be fantastic. The rights are going to be for TV are going to be huge. This is going to be great. And they all fold like a cheap tent at the first sign of any pushback at all. What a joke. These guys are pathetic. That's the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life. Have you ever heard of a deal going that poorly to where everyone panics and sells instantly? It's like, oh, sorry. Oh, my God. We upset some people. What did they think was going to happen?
This is
like, come on, guys, stick together.
This is the Fire Fest of pro sports leagues. Okay, so you mentioned, like, I'm with you, right? This is how American professional sports is, right? I mean, the NBA is, hey, there's 30 teams. These are the teams. We watch these teams and we're all fine with it. It's the same with the NFL. Now, soccer is, right, it's supposed to be the common man's game, right? With how they do relegation and, how teams can get elevated into the top leagues by winning. Like, it's not a exclusive club. Like, their whole thing is, hey, everyone's got a chance to make it to the show. You just have to win, right? It's about winning. And even, the common man has his chance. Yeah, I mean, that's great for them, but I'm with you. I would have loved to see it. I would have watched the shit out of that league, but people did freak out, man. It was all over my timeline. I don't follow a single soccer person, I don't think. And everyone was talking about the Super League. It would have been awesome.
You want everyone talking about the Super League. You want everyone talking about how stupid it is. And then whenever it happens, they're going to tune in to see how stupid it is. And when they tune in to see how stupid it is, they're going to actually like it. And whenever they actually like it, they're going to always tune in to watch it. This is perfect. You want it to be insane whenever you announce it.
Yeah, I think there's probably a little more to it. You look at FIFA. I think FIFA runs, UEFA, and obviously this would have been a huge hit to them. So it's not like I don't feel like this is a, for the love of the game situation for those
Right.
people, right? It's all about money, right? Just like everything is.
Sure.
But there is it's going to be interesting because, I mean, this got out, right? I mean, they rolled it out, press release and everything. And now they're all like, oh, just kidding. It's going to be interesting to see how these teams do over the next couple of years, right? I think there's going to be some resentment there for these clubs. Look at me, clubs. Yeah, I talk soccer. What's up? But I'm interested to see what the consequences will be for this betrayal. It's kind of like they were, they were married. They're texting someone else. Nothing happened, but they're texted. It's a little weird. The husband or wife finds out, type of situation. It's like, I didn't do anything. I wasn't actually gonna do it. I wasn't actually just like, okay. I am interested to see how the fans react because, I mean, some of these videos I've seen, these people were like hurt, like they were traumatized by the thought of this league. I was like, damn, I didn't know it was that serious, but now I know, man.
Well, good for them that everyone folded and they're right back to where they were before. They lost all of their leverage. They didn't even ask for a better deal with where they are. They just went right back to what they were doing. So weird.
RIP Super League. And on that note,